Today we start at mile 108.6 and hike to Story Creek Shelter at mile 116.6. Today's elevation changes include 928 feet of uphill and 1,453 feet of downhill over a total distance of 8 miles. We just woke up from a good night rest at Suck Mountain Shelter. It was a nice shelter. Not an incredible view, but a decent view. It's not just totally buried. So shout out to Foot for maintaining the trail and providing these shelters. A really good accommodation being on the trail. So we're at mile marker 108.6. We're only shooting for about 8 miles today. So we'll probably head to Story Creek Shelter. So we'll see you up the trail. All right, here we are. We're at the halfway point on the Ouachita Trail, 111.5. So feel like that's a pretty good milestone. And now we're on the downhill side, at least for us, headed west to east. So there you go. We'll see you on down trail. I don't know why these uphills never show up on camera. Every time I go up a hill and film it, when I look at the film, it just looks like I'm on flat, level ground. You can maybe see it a little bit here, but that's not that much. And this is not even really that big of a climb, but I don't really know how to get the camera to show elevation on trail. I think the only way you can really see it is over a longer distance when you're looking across a ravine or a valley. So, you know, you can see this deep ravine right here. We just climbed up that, and that's not even much. That's probably not even 50 feet, you know. And there's a lot of days here we're doing 2,000 to 3,000 feet per day of ascent, and probably the same amount of descent. I think it's just really hard to convey that on film, but it is quite something. Not only, probably not so hard to do it just hiking, but to have a 20 to 30 pounds on your back is really what makes all the difference there. You know, 30 pounds don't seem like much, but next time you go to the grocery store, try carrying a case of water out to the car, you know, which is probably 100 yards. And then just try to imagine doing that about 12 hours straight. I say 12 hours, we'll be 14 hours on trail, but probably take up about 2 hours worth of breaks if you combine them all. But all in all, typically spend about 12 hours just solid hiking. And then not on flat ground, but on a lot of this terrain. It's quite something. And I watch a lot of hiking and outdoor videos, and it's just something you never can, I never really could grasp watching on the TV. But I don't know, there's probably not just a good way to imagine that. Carrying the case of water out to your car is probably as close as I could come. Well, I can tell you this about Michaela and CJ. There may have been hard times on this trail in terms of pain with foot blisters, toe blisters, you know, and just a lot of soreness. I can tell you they're strong individuals, and this being their second long hike, you know, full week hike, they're definitely not amateurs. You know, they've got some experience under them now. They're stronger than they were last year. I expect they'll be even stronger next year. So, you know, we can prep and talk about as much as we can at home, but actually getting out in here and doing it really does put some experience under their belt. And I think that's probably about the only way you'll get some of that. So I think every year they could gradually do more and more. And that's for me too. So I'm really pleased with the progress, and I think they're doing really well. This is a lot to take in, you know. It's a pretty extreme thing to be out here in the middle of nowhere in the wilderness, you know, where there's not people or a town or amenities or help, you know. At certain times, you know, you're a couple days from town. So there's just a lot to be said about that for them, and I'm pretty proud of them for that. So day 5 here. I feel like this has been my best day. I know the last couple days have been real short on mileage, 10.5 and 8 miles. I think once my legs healed up from being sore from those first couple days doing 16 and over 17 miles, that my legs just gained strength and momentum. I think they're just more ready for the trail after that. So it's kind of hard to believe that I feel better right now in the middle of day 5 than probably I did on the first day. So that's really good. Just making me think that I wished I had another week to 10 days. I would love to finish the trail, but won't get to do that right now. So we will finish this trail eventually, a few sections at a time. Also, with these shorter miles that we're doing every day, a lot of it is they're hurting quite a bit, their feet, and I understand that. So I don't want to push the extra miles on them. I want them to be able to handle it and not just have regrets about the trail. So I would rather cut my days and mileage short so that they can have a little bit better experience. If I were here by myself, I would probably cut out every morning about 2 to 3 hours earlier than we have been, and I'd probably still be shooting for at least 15-mile minimum days, maybe somewhere between 15 and 20-mile days. I think that would probably be pretty feasible for me with how I'm feeling, what I think I would be able to do comfortably. But I'm glad they're here, and I'm glad that we're able to do this together, and I want to be able to do this as a team and a group with my kids. So overall, still really happy with this hike and what we're putting out each day. Just so I don't forget, I wanted to make record that day 5 today, it's probably been one of the best trail days as far as easy parts of the trail. The ascent and descents have been so gradual that it's just really easy. So I mean, there's a couple steeper inclines and declines, but so far really it's just been an easy section of the trail and very pleasant part of the trail. Maybe one of the more enjoyable days outside of crossing some of the creeks on the other days. Those were pretty good moments, but just wanted to be able to remember back that day 5 here was probably the most enjoyable, easy part of the trail, where there's a lot of that just is the elevation is it's probably less severe, and the vegetation is just hardly nothing. The first few days just wading through overgrown vegetation and then just being in wet feet the entire time is probably why that is. Today's the first day we've had where our feet didn't get wet at all so far. So having dry feet the entire day, to me, was pretty big. I'm very thankful for that. Okay, we have made it. We made it to Story Creek Shelter at mile 116.6. And as usual, your nice Ouachita Trail shelter. Picnic table, fire ring, and a little stream about 30 yards straight out front of the shelter. Down inside a kind of a valley, little gap down here, bunch of big pine trees. So looks like a really nice facility.